Morning, folks. This is Brian. Um, GameHoleCon, still day 3, but I'm going to cover day 2, where I played. I ran the Eye of the Storm. Um, I went to a. No, save for a different video. Anyway, so I ran Eye of the Storm, like RuneQuest, my game. But last time I ran this, when I ran at Gen Con, I didn't have my book with me, and so the whole grapple and knockback rules were, a little nebulous, so it did not go too well. So this time, I printed out those rules and I struck out all the stuff that won't really apply. Okay, this makes sense. Make a grapple, you grab a body location. Next round, you make another grapple roll to throw, and then you make strength plus dex versus size plus dex to actually make the throw, right? So that's to keep the hold, I guess. The second grapple is to keep the hold, and then there's the throw on the resistance roll table. So, and on the knockback, you make an attack. Obviously, with these guys, it's just a fist. Or technically, I could use the grapple, but these guys' fists are better than their grapple skills. So you make the fist attack, and you do the strength plus size against size plus dex, and you can get knocked back, or you can get knocked down. Or I interpreted a critical success as both, so you get knocked back and down. And that applied to the scenario because, well, if they get knocked down, but they're still inside the square, you've got to get them out, and there's rules in the scenario about pushing somebody out. So I felt much better with how the grapple knockback worked in this session. However, I only had 3 players, and so I cut back the NPCs to 3, so we're balanced. And I had it in the back of my head that if we have full 6, and there's only 5 in the scenario, don't know why, that I would just grab one of the PC options that wasn't chosen and just stick them in. That was my thought pattern. Anyway, didn't have to worry about that. 3 on 3, right? So you've got the first one, which is the air contest, which is either orate or sing, depending on who wins and their decision. And then you've got the wrestling match, and then you've got the non-lethal combat. So with only three PCs, though, having them, because they're all going to do the fight. It's going to be 3 on 3, and one of them has to do the orate, which means either have one do the fight plus the wrestling, or I have 2 do the fight plus the wrestling. And it just didn't seem right to have somebody doing 2. I guess I could have done 2 physical cards. That would kept more players involved, maybe. We'll have to think about that for the next session. Anyway, so I brought down to 1-to-1 instead of 1. That night, they tried a couple of things. One of them made a singing roll for extra reputation at the end. But trying to get information out of the other side just was not happening. They were not making rolls. In fact, the one player was running Vichy Dunn, and he fumbled like 5 times last night. It was horrendously hilarious. He was missing rolls left and right. And of course, Vichy doesn't have a lot of skills that are very effective, or spells that are really effective in the material world, right? So it was interesting. So anyway, orate versus sing. They lost the coin toss, so the NPCs go up, and he's better at orating than singing, and so he chooses orate, and so we do the little orate thing, and I didn't really have a story to tell, but we kind of, using the skills and dice rolls. Okay, he's going to incorporate part of his knowledge of the history of his homeland, Sartar skill into the story to bring stuff in, that kind of thing. So we did this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They won that competition. It was Yanioff, was the player. And we did the invoking the passion stuff and discussing skill augmentation. It makes me wonder if maybe you can do both. Be impassioned, that's the word, impassioned by your runes, and then inspired by another skill. Interesting. We may have to think about this some more. It's not technically double dipping, but it could be double dipping. But anyway, so they won the first competition. Draw out the square. Next competition is Vichy because he's the biggest guy there or something. Oh, that's right. It's Vichy, Yanioth, and Visana. Two people without armor and one with. Not that that's really important to this point, but so, and I did forget to mention up front that when their player, Laren or something, he's a Stormbolt guy. When he comes up, he's taking off his armor, he's stretching, limbering up, getting ready to go. The fact that, we don't use armor when we wrestle, right? So, go through the statement of intent, movement, what's your strike rank, all that kind of stuff. We work it all out and we go. So, Vichy went to do a grapple on him, and he was going to do a knockback. The grapple fumbled, and the defense, the block against the grapple fumble, they both fumbled. So Vichy actually rolled 30 well. He lost his next attack and parry. But the Berserker rolled like a 70. So he got sand kicked up into his eyes. He's got a D6 worth of rounds to try to clear his vision. It was 3 rounds trying to clear his vision. And Vichy keeps doing the grapple, or attempting, next round, 1 round out of the eyes, attempts to do the grapple again. I think he may have been successful, or he may have missed. I don't remember. But eventually, the guy gets his eyes cleared. And Vichy still has the grapple on him. Oh, he did have a grapple. Next round, tried to do the throw. Was not successful with the throw part. Eyes are now clear. And the guy's going to do the knockback. And he got special success. So he knocks Vichy back 3 meters. It was ended up being 2, 1, 2 out of the ring. Thing over in like 3 or 4 rounds. But these failures and the double fumble at the very beginning was hilarious. Okay, mock fight, right? So Fire Elemental comes out, does her thing, and everybody's inside the ring. I changed a couple things from the scenario. So Accorda's got the crystal, so she's holding her palm, and then everybody else can just reach in and touch it. So they're all casting the spell at the same time. So we don't have to, burn rounds of the spell waiting for people to cast the spell, right? So Vichy does cast it twice on his dagger axe and on his dagger. And they kind of pair this, they spar up against each other around the circle kind of thing, not side to side, but across from each other. And statements of intent, movement modifies your strike rank. What's your strike rank now? And we go along the line, right? But they both kind of just step forward. But the NPCs ganged up on Vichy with that dagger axe. Even with Dull Blade 4, and I talked about this a number of times. Okay, Dull Blade 4 affects the weapon, right? Which, for my home game, the reverse is true. Blade Sharp affects the weapon. So if the weapon damage is doubled or maxed, that Blade Sharp applies twice. I thought it was pretty cool. I like that concept. It made more sense to me, and it helps save. Because if you get a special, a D8 plus, broadsword's a D8 plus 1. D8 plus 1 minus 4 is a D8 minus 3. Now, if you roll a D8 minus 3 twice, rather than a D8 minus 3 and a D8 plus 1 for a special, a slash kind of thing, so it helps decrease that lethality. And I really liked that concept, and so I'm going to take that to my home game. And the Berserker guy's got a great axe, so he's got a chance to really hurt people, possibly even get through a shield or a weapon block, right? Because the weapon does enough damage on its own that the -4 is not that significant. Now with a regular weapon, that -4 is significant. So combat ensues. I don't remember exactly how it all worked out, but Vichy was the first one out because the NPCs ganged up on Vichy because of that dagger axe. We gotta get that dagger axe out here because that can actually hurt somebody. And it's all the first blood, right? So as soon as you take some damage, you're out of the game. So they take Vichy out. Oh, forgot to mention that during the night festivities, Vasana did the drinking game with the Berserker, and he won and she lost. So she was at -20 all during this day, and then she ended up missing her rune impassionment, so she's at -40 for all this stuff going on. Now you could be technical saying that the rune impassionment is for a single skill during a scene, and they kind of open this up that for each, well, the way the scenario is written for the GM, hey, the rune impassionment will last the entire day, all of the events, but you can do skill impassionment, skill inspirations during each event kind of thing. So they kind of break it up that way. Yanyath made her Earth rune roll. I don't remember. I don't think she did an impassionment. Now I think about it, he must have somewhere. Manipulation. Yeah, he did an air rune impassionment. He was successful, but Fazana missed her. She's at -40 for all this stuff, and that comes in play later in the game. So, the scenario is written and gives the first player a different set of skill numbers for the orate sing thing, assuming he made impassion rolls and other stuff, and those numbers don't really match up, but I just ran with them. But for the rest of the stuff, there's nothing written down on. Okay, these are the 2 guys for this event, and these are what their skill levels are actually at because of So I was actually rolling impassionments, right? And Accorda, well, that's the third fight. So, we're in the third fight. That's right. Accorda got a critical success, so she's got a +50 with her 90% broadsword. Now, yeah, there's a -20 on top of that +50. So she's like at 120. Ooh, I was right. That's right. At 140. Anyway, so she's at +30, 90, 120. And I just had her doing single things because you got to get a special in order to get through a shield, right? If you can even do that. I mean, shields were hit a few times, and nobody got through any shields. I think one shield took 1 point of damage, throughout the fight. But Vichy was the first one down, and then they teamed up against Vasana, and I think it was Laren the Berserker who got a special success with that freaking great axe. And she must have missed her parry because she took enough damage to put her leg like -4. So she went down. Same thing happened to Vichy. His leg went to -4 or 5 when he went down because they must have been special. Must have missed his parry. That's what it was. He missed his parry and got hit. So he went down. Even with all these negatives, if you got a big enough weapon or you roll well enough to do some damage, if you don't have to worry about the shield. Another thing I did that's different from the rules is this is all about skill, right? We don't do magic on the first 2, but they allow magic on the third one. Are you kidding? I ran this once where I gave the NPCs magic, and you've got one of Accorda's got 5 rune points, right? So she throws a couple shield spell on her, so she's got 4 points of armor on top of her regular stuff, which is 1s and 4s. Where's that? I don't know. Still, against a -4 weapon, there's no way you're going to get through that. And the party got trounced. So no magic for this fight. In fact, no armor for this fight. It's all about skill. And it's you got the dull bleed 4 on your weapons. You're only going to do a couple points of damage if you get through anything. So, but especially with these heavy weapons, hurt. So Sonic gets out, and they're all ganging up on poor Yanyath. And she eventually missed a parry, and so it got hit and goes down. She got hit hard though. What was that? It may have been a critical because she got hit hard. Um, and it was at that point I realized, we're not necessarily supposed to run through the entire phase of the mock combat because of this sky bull coming down, right? But as soon as she got hit out hard, unconscious, oh, it was her chest. She got to negative in her chest, so she's unconscious, coughing up blood. Well, not coughing up blood because you have to go negative your hit points in the chest. She was just negative in her chest, so she's unconscious. Is going to die in 10 rounds or 10 minutes kind of thing. And Vishy's been out for like 3 rounds, so Cousin Monkey's been doing heal spells on him to get his leg back up. And the Storm Bolt, the Sky Bolt comes crashing down. So the NPCs now own the tower. So Accorda looks at Vasana. Will you and your guys help us with whatever's going on up there? And, make an honor roll kind of thing. Yeah, we'll do that. And so Accorda starts burning her rune points doing heal wounds on folks. She's got a crystal, or she's got a companion or something. So she's got extra magic points, but she heals up 8 points into Yanioth to get her up, and then does like 6 points into Vasana, gets her up. Meanwhile, Cousin Monkey's been healing somebody else. He must have gone back and was doing healing on Vishy. So everybody's back up full hit points. And we discussed a little bit about, donning armor. Now this is, Greaves, 1, 2, Van Braces, 1, 2, Helmet, 1. Putting on a hauberk or your Linthorax, yeah, it takes a little bit. So if you want to do 1 melee round, you can get either on your body armor or on your limb armor. If you want to spend 2, you're full up. I need to double check that video where the guy's putting on Greek armor and timing himself on how long it takes him. I need to double check that. But at the time, that was my ruling, right? So it's been 2 more rounds. So we've got 3 rounds of healing and 2 rounds of donning armor. So that's 5 rounds that the bull's been up there and the harpies are coming in. So they go to the tower. Oh, and the night before, I forgot about this too. The party went to go check out the tower, right? And so it's dark, minus 30 for scanning. Doesn't say anything about that for your dex roll, but going up the stairs, right? A dex times 5 or a scan, or you're going to fall through. But you can do a dodge to get out of falling through. If you miss your dex times 5 and your dodge, you fall through, hit the ground, right? Because your scan's at minus 30. Nobody's doing a scan. For some reason, that was a real trial because they had a couple people fall a couple times. And when you hit, the rule says 1d3 locations for 1d6 damage. Now they do have armor on, so you're only taking like a point here, point. There's a d4 worth of damage kind of thing. But the d3 locations, which makes sense to me. I like that d3 locations because the actual falling rules don't say that. But I did tell them about you can try to use your jump skill to mitigate that damage. You should have done that. That really affected many of the players. It was the time. It took forever to get up to the top and see stuff. And then, I searched around in each layer. I'll need to double check if you can search the upper layers because the search table is at the floor level, but it makes sense that you might be able to find stuff everywhere else. It was on the 2nd floor, I think it was, where Vasana found, got a critical success and found a club, right, shaped like a torch with flame carvings, and it's got light spell embedded in it. But as soon as you touch an item, you can cast a spell, right? So you know that it's got spells in it, right? So you don't necessarily have to cast detect magic; just touch everything. Anyway, so they eventually all make it to the top. And then they have to go back down. And again, you get these Dex times 5 rolls. People, they fell through a handful of times. It was just rough. Because Vishy kept missing his rolls. But anyway, that was that last time. So now it's the next day. Skybolt crashed on the top of the tower. One of the NPCs actually got hit with some rocks. Everybody else made their rolls. And will you help us? Yes. Heal, heal, heal. Up they go. It took Laren, the Stormbolt guy, 3 rounds more than everybody else to get up because he missed his rolls too a couple times. And Cousin Monkey, Vishy, Accorda, and Yanioth, they all made their rolls and got up. Vasana, after falling down the first time with her -20 from being hangover stuff, she just calls her quick. Hey guys, I'll watch things from down here. And same thing happened with one of the NPCs, so I had to do the same thing. So there's 2 of them down on the ground level. Everybody else is at the top except for Laren, who's coming up. And there's the Skybolt, right? And Quarters Orlanthe. So she's going cautious to him because this thing is damaged, crazed madness, right? And Vishy misses his animal lore rolls to really say this is kind of a dang. I mean, we should leave this thing alone kind of deal, but no, they want to help it, right? So Cora goes up there and burns the rest of her magic points in a heal wounds, which heals the wing and does a couple other points. Everybody else moved forward. Now, the way I laid this out, because we do this on the table, and I've got 2 hex figure for the Stormbolt, Skybolt, and then we're using these guys little 4 small D6s as the harpies, because there's 4 harpies clatched onto this thing. Normally they come down, but they've had time, so they've got a hold of this thing. They're trying to take it off, and they've got like a 5% chance to actually pull on this bull off with just 4 of them. But if you get a 5th one down there, it becomes like 95 because the way the resistance roll table is designed, right? So, but the 5th one doesn't come down until 3 rounds after the first flock gets, but the first flock's already here. So, Harpies attack. Corda went forward, heals. The other guys fight with Harpies. They do take a couple out. On the ground, they can see Harpies up there, so Vasana's shooting at him with her bow. She keeps missing because that -20. Harpies come down to the tower, grab rocks. Harpies go to the ground, grab rocks. And Harpies attack. There's lots of Harpies, right? After Accorda does the heal, the rest of the party moves forward to the bull because they want to attack the Harpies that are on the bull. And the last time I ran this, I had the Harpies on the outside. You can't, they're on the other side of the bull, you can't really hit it. But Vishy's got his dagger axe, and Cousin Monkey's got a spear, 2 hex kind of thing. Maybe, okay, you can sort of reach it, I'll let you do that. And then, want to leave Yanni off, so we kept that out. Well, other than her attack, she's using her battle axe, right? Because they're all thinking, kill the Harpies, not heal the bull, heal the bull. So, they kill one of the Harpies. In fact, Cousin Monkey got a special, and so I separate out for them impales versus slashes versus crushes, because we had encountered crushes with a critical parry, shield kind of thing earlier. So we discuss and separate. Things are different. So the spear does max damage plus rolled damage plus damage bonus. And you got to clarify that +1, that D6 +1 means a D6 +1. That's 7 points plus a D6 +1. So it's a D6 +8 plus damage roll. Get the Harpy out. And the Sky Bull doesn't like non-air rune people, right? But Vishy, I didn't roll for Cousin Monkey. Vishy and Yanioth have some air rune. So I had them roll against the air rune to see if the bull just reflexively kicks out. And first round they made the air runes no problem. Larian eventually gets up there. He goes up to the Sky Bull. He burns all of his magic points, well, 9 of his 10, and cure wounds on the Sky Bull. So the Sky Bull is at this point pretty good. But we have more harpies coming down. So we have 2 harpies coming down. So we got 5 on the Sky Bull. And this round, both Vishy and Yanyav miss their air rune roll. So the Sky Bull kicks out at him. And he's only got a 35% chance to hit and do damage. But he did both times. In fact, oh, that's right. He got a special against Yanyav. So he kicks out at Vishy. Vishy misses his parry with his dagger axe, and he takes 6d6 worth of damage. No, he must have made his parry. Because he only took, no, it did like 20-something points of damage, but because it rolled really bad. But it's a limb, so limb can only take so much damage. So he takes 10 points of damage. His limb goes from 5 to -5, and he drops to the ground. Yanyav makes her parry. So the Storm Bull is doing 66 plus 24 damage to her. I don't remember what the actual number was. But she made her parry, so it stops 12, so we took 12 points off. And then it sucked up all 12 of its hit points. We take another 12 off. The shield is shattered. And then she takes enough damage. Well, the rest of it goes to her leg, which puts her leg past its negative. So it'll go negative. So it goes from 4 to -4. So it only takes 8 hit points of damage. But she goes down. Crushed her shield and put her down. That was awesome. But at this point, the Sky Bull is healed enough. They did do some damage to 2 of the harpies, 1 to a leg and 1 to a wing, so I gave them half strength. So we're just down to 4 and a 4. Can't really get off, but the Sky Bull does his thing, right? Storm Bull shows up. Sky Bull flies around. I had him fly around and land on the tower. Lightning comes down, the brazier, and all that stuff. And Sky Bull looks at them and then flies off. Harpy scatter. That's how we ended the session. Well, we go through with the other team gets their stuff, and they get the thanks from the queen, and they get an extra 25 lunars, and Vasana got an increase in her devotion to Orlan. Holy cow, nearly half an hour. Sorry, guys. Happy gaming.